Hi, my name is Wes Overton, and today we're going to preview the first probability lesson for the Algebra 1 and Probability course. And the idea behind this lesson is we want students to build upon previous knowledge of working with probability from 7th grade, and they're going to get an informal experience working with some probabilities, and then we're going to formalize some of the vocabulary later. So this lesson comes to us from statsmedic.com. And what we're going to do first is have a data collection activity determining whether students have the ability to taco tongue or evil eyebrow. So students will work in pairs and be each other's judge to determine whether or not that partner can taco tongue or evil eyebrow. And then what we're going to do is that data will be collected in a two-way table, and we're going to give the students the opportunities to work 1, 2, and 3 in their groups, and they're going to make the connection from the two-way table to the Venn diagram. So this is a set of sample data, so your data will be different because it will come from a live class, but the yes evil eyebrow and yes taco tongue will go in the middle of the Venn diagram. Some people call that the football because it looks like the football. The yes evil eyebrow and no taco tongue will go in, some people call this the right Pac-Man, because it kind of looks like a Miss Pac-Man or a Pac-Man. And then this 5 here, this is the no evil eyebrow but yes taco tongue, that will go in the left Pac-Man. And then the 7, no evil eyebrow, no taco tongue, that will go down here. So these first couple questions should build on students' knowledge of probabilities from 7th grade. So the probability a student selected at random can taco tongue. So we're looking all the way across to 20 out of 30 for this sample data. Or yes taco tongue would be this whole circle inside the Venn diagram. And they may not have been introduced to the probability notation. So if not, this is a good opportunity just to show them, to make sure that they understand that this means the probability that a student is yes taco tongue, and we could say that is 20 out of 30. A new vocabulary word might be the word complement, and that is the opposite of the event. So if 20 out of 30 can taco tongue, that means 10 out of 30 cannot taco tongue. And to note this, we're just going to put, since this is the complement event, we're going to put that C up there. That is the complement of the event. And so that's a good opportunity to stop and have this conversation with students about the notation, the word complement, and also point out that the probability of an event, in this case being on taco tongue, and its complement will always equal 1. Okay, either like it rains or it doesn't rain. Now, next you will let them work through questions 4, 5, and 6 as you go around and monitor. And then once we have a chance at the end, we're going to go back and formalize some of the vocabulary. So some of the vocabulary we're going to talk about, like for one, all 4 of these questions are called the intersection of 2 events. Okay, because we're looking at 2 things that could happen at once. And we note that with the probability of event A and the probability of event B. So that kind of upside down U is notation for and, which is the intersection of 2 events. Next, we're going to have 2 events. Either they can evil eyebrow or they cannot evil eyebrow. We're going to talk about those as being mutually exclusive events. So 2 events that are mutually exclusive cannot happen together. So the probability of A and B happening at the exact same time would be 0. A common example to give students would be the probability of randomly selecting the probability of randomly selecting a male in Walmart and the probability of randomly selecting somebody that is pregnant in Walmart. Those would be 2 mutually exclusive events because the probability of selecting somebody who is male and pregnant would be 0. And then the last one we're going to look at is the union of 2 events. Now, this is very powerful to get students to stand up. So as you're in class, you could say, stand up if you can taco tongue. And then you could count them. And then you could say, stand up if you can evil eyebrows. So then count those students. And then if you add those together, you're going to get a number bigger than 1. So that is a problem. So then you have to ask students who can stand up if you can taco tongue and evil eyebrow, which means we counted those students twice, so we must subtract those numbers. So the union of two events would be the probability of event A or the probability of event B. And what we just did to calculate that, you have to add the probability of the first one plus the probability of the second event, and then you have to subtract the intersection of those two, the ones that you kind of double counted. So that's kind of how you'll let students, work through this lesson informally first, and then we'll come back over here in the margins and kind of formalize some of that notation. And then the question on the back is just a kind of an exit slip kind of opportunity for them to get a little bit more practice. So what we covered in this, we covered pretty much all of algebra with probability content standard 37. So we were looking at unions, intersection, and complements of events. And that'll help us once we get to independence in the next lesson.